So this is my death ground moment where I'm not fucking doing it anymore. I'm changing.
I know, I look fucking horrid. I'm sorry, but I just need to fucking say something about this because I don't understand how to, like, save money on bills and gas, and I don't get it.
Cost of living is so fucked that everything is now considered a luxury. Things that were normal a few years ago. I couldn't afford to get a haircut.
And it's so crazy how it's basically normalised at this point to literally just do your job, pay your bills, and barely be able to save at the end of the month.
The cost of living in the UK was completely out of control, and that's why we left. We left nearly 3 years ago because of 2 full-time working parents was not enough for us to sustain the life that we had in the UK.
2 full-time working parents with good jobs and good salaries, and still not enough to get through the month. If you think that's just one person's story, I'm about to show you 15, and every single one of them will hit different. Hey, I'm Kingsley and welcome back. If you're new here, be sure you're subscribed. Let's get into it.
So this is my death ground moment where I'm not fucking doing it anymore. I'm changing this. I'm just so fucking sick and tired of living the way me and my family live. We work every single fucking spare minute of the day. We have 3 kids, 2 are mine, 1's my niece, which we took on. Every spare pound, penny goes towards the kids. We barely survive. We get basics. We can't afford anything that would resemble a half decent life. And I just feel like there has to be a better way to live, an easier way to live, where I'm not sacrificing all our time, all our energy, all our friends. We're sacrificing time with our kids just to barely get by. And I'm so fucking sick and tired of this. I'm 37, I've worked my whole life. I've built a family business that I worked on for 14 years, and we had to close that. And now we are rock bottom. And I am at my last ditch attempt to try and fix it and try and make it work, because I feel like I'm living in a totally different universe to everyone else. So I'm gonna go out my comfort zone and just put myself out there. I've got 2 birthdays coming up in July. My niece is turning 17 and my daughter is turning 5. And my son is going to university in September. And I have no money. I have no money for these birthdays. I have no money to get him prepared for uni. And all I want is to spoil my niece. She's had a shit time. She was homeless. So we took her in, and we get no help from anyone. We get no help from family, none from her parents, none. So, and my daughter, who turns 5, I don't want her to see struggle, so you spoil them as much as you can. I'll spend my last pound on her. And every day all we're getting is bills.
Imagine being 37 and having worked your whole life. You run a family business for 14 years, and now you're having to cry on camera because you can't afford to buy your kids a birthday present or send your son to university in September. And here's what gets me. She's not doing nothing. Her and her spouse are both working and earning income, but it's still not enough. That doesn't look like a personal failure. That's more like a system failing a person. In the UK today, student loans are practically unavoidable, and you start paying them back the second you start earning £25,000 or more a year. So even trying to get out of this situation has a cost attached, and I really hope she makes it, because people like her deserve to get better than what they are getting right now. But here's the thing, some people stop waiting for things to get better and instead just leave.
The cost of living in the UK was completely out of control, and that's why we left. We left nearly 3 years ago because of 2 full-time working parents was not enough for us to sustain the life that we had in the UK. We were basically surviving. We were not living, and we had really good jobs, high-paid jobs with really good salaries, and this barely covered our rent, our bills, our council tax, childcare, food shops, you know, electric, and even if the car went wrong or something happened, the big chunk of money had to go out. We just felt like we were constantly chasing our tail, constantly paying stuff out. And then we had this tiny little pot left over to actually enjoy ourselves and do things that we wanted to do. And then because there wasn't enough money, we would then put it onto a credit card, and then we were in this massive circle of debt. So I could just see us doing this for the next 40 years and completely saying goodbye to our lives until it's time to retire and we're either too ill or too old to enjoy it.
£4 for a full tank of fuel is unfathomable for people in the West. They packed everything and moved out of the UK and found this other life on the other side. But here's what they had before. They had good jobs with high salaries, and between rent, council tax, bills, childcare, and there was almost nothing left. They were just surviving and not living. And at some point, when you're sacrificing your kid's entire childhood just to keep the lights on, you ask yourself, is this really what life is supposed to look like? So they chose to live. And honestly, I respect that, because the alternative was spending 40 years chasing a finish line that just keeps moving. And what's actually wild is that the next person isn't even thinking about leaving. She's just shocked that any of this is considered normal at all.
I just find it so crazy how it's basically normalised at this point to literally just do your job, pay your bills, and barely be able to save at the end of the month. Like, it's just so normalised to go to a grocery store and literally panic every time you go grocery shopping because everything's just so fucking expensive, and every time you go to the shop, everything's just like doubled in price. I was having a conversation with my sister and I was just saying, like, I'm so fucking upset that I can't spend the money that I want to spend on my family for Christmas because everything, like, just surviving is so fucking expensive. Like, yes, like, I am not as poor as some people, that I know some people are literally struggling to even, like, exist. I'm getting by paycheck to paycheck, and it's insane how normalized it has become. That we spend most of our lives working and all we are doing is surviving. We're not doing anything. We're just literally surviving. Like, most of us can't even afford to buy a fucking shitty flat, for fuck's sake. Every year, electric goes up, everything but the salary, and I'm just like, it's so fucking normalised. And it's literally gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. And I don't want to sit here and be like hopelessness, but it's not gonna get any better.
It's so normalized is the sentence that gets me every time. Because we've accepted going to the grocery store and quietly calculating whether we can afford things or not. We've accepted that two people working full-time might still not be able to buy a flat. We've also accepted that every year the bill goes up and the salary doesn't. And the dangerous thing about normalization is that it kills the anger. When something feels normal, you stop fighting it, you just cope. But this isn't normal. Groceries doubling, electricity going up, salaries staying flat. It's like we've just been told it's normal for too long that most people stopped questioning it. This next one is even harder to watch. Check it out.
I know, I look fucking horrid, I'm sorry, but I just need to fucking say something about this because I'm so... Oh, I can't. I didn't want to make a video about this, but it's got to the point now where I just feel like someone needs to say something. I don't understand how to, like, save money on bills and gas, and I don't get it. I got my bill through and I was so excited to open my bill this month because I've been trying so hard. I've had my heating off for the whole month. It's so cold in my house. I'll show you my thermostat right now. It's 12 degrees in my house. It's 12 degrees in my house. I have a baby. I have a freaking baby and it's 12 degrees in my house. 12 degrees. I cannot afford to put the heating on. I get a letter through the door today after not having the heating on for a whole month to try and save money, and the bill is more expensive than it was last month. I've somehow used more gas. I don't get it. I take really short showers, like as short as I possibly can. I try and do as little loads of washing as possible. I boil the kettle to do the water for the washing up. I don't use the bath. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So if anyone please has any tips on what I'm doing wrong, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I don't know how to fix it. And I just want a warm house for my baby. That's all I want. And
So it's 12 degrees in a house with a baby, and I must say, I feel for them. She turned the heating off for an entire month just to save money, and her bill came back higher than the previous month, and she doesn't even know why. And on top of that, she's doing short showers with minimal washing and also boiling the kettle for washing up, and it still doesn't matter. And that's the part that no one is talking about. You can do everything right and still be losing. And while she's sitting there freezing with her baby, UK energy companies posted some of the highest profit record during that same period. The money didn't disappear, it just moved, and it didn't move towards her. All she wanted was a warm house for her kids, but even that has become a negotiation now. The next one actually gets me even more, because this is someone doing everything the financial book tells you to do.
This is what the cost of living crisis looks like. My 2026 life is exactly the same as my 2025 life, except that it costs $400 more per month. And that's because my health insurance went up by $200 a month. My home insurance went up by $30 a month. Gas has gone up almost $1 per gallon in the last 3 weeks alone. Groceries are more expensive, electricity is more expensive, and none of these increases are my fault, and they're not your fault either. None of this is because I'm bad with money or I'm spending too much on avocado toast. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing. I'm cooking at home, I am doing low-cost hobbies like hiking and biking. But when costs go up and random stuff happens, like a leak in my roof, that means I have to pay more. This is unsustainable for the vast majority of Americans. And while I absolutely believe that an individual has the power to change their life, I also think we need to be realistic about how systemic this cost of living crisis is. In order for things to change, we need top-down change.
Cooking at home, having low-cost hobbies, no avocado toast, doing everything right. And her life in 2026 costs $400 more per month than it did last year for the exact same life. Health insurance up by $200, home insurance up by $30, gas up nearly $1 more per gallon in the past 3 weeks, and none of it is her fault. This is the lie that we've been sold, that if you're struggling, you're just bad with money. But you can't out-budget a system that keeps raising the ceiling. At some point, the problem isn't your behavior, it's the infrastructure everyone is living inside. And the next person from this next clip is feeling that exact same thing, but from a completely different situation.
I don't know if it's just me, but I'm hoping it's not just me. But does anyone else just feel like they work and the money just goes? I just think salaries just don't align with how expensive life is. Like, I literally get 28k. What the fuck can you do with that? Like 28k 15 years ago, 10 years ago, brilliant salary, not now. And it really annoys me when people will say, well, I was earning 28k and I bought a house with that and I was able to go on loads of holidays and blah blah blah. And when I comment back and I'm like, oh, when was that? They were like 2010. No shit, Sherlock. Like, a lot's fucking changed since then. I just feel like something's got to give, because this is not right. Like, surely this can't be it. Like, we can't be doing this forever. Like, just working, being able to just afford maybe 1, 2, 3, if you're lucky, holidays a year.
£28,000 a year. And before anyone says anything, 10 years ago, that was solid. Go on holiday and even build a life. But now, £28,000 in South England barely covers rent, car insurance 1 month, and then car service the next. She's 27 and thinking about getting married and having kids, and genuinely doesn't know how she's gonna afford either. And that's not laziness, because wages in the UK have barely grown in the last 15 years. Someone put that into even sharper words in the next clip.
Okay, hot take, but America did not get more expensive. Our money just got weaker. Your parents could raise kids, buy a house, take a vacation on one income. Now people have 2 jobs and can't even go on a vacation or pay rent. Groceries are double, rent is insane. The car market right now, don't even get me started about that. People in their 50s and 60s, people that I talk to, they're like, it was so easy for me to buy a house back then. It was like $20,000. Get fucking real. Thing got more expensive, but wages didn't even double. The system has gotten so hard to live in. Basically, everything is just survival at this point. No one's living to have fun anymore. We're just surviving. Right now in America, every single dollar matters. That's why I had to make a budget this year. I started using a budgeting app like mine, which helps so much, by the way, but it does not fix the fact that living in America is so effing expensive. Everyone has to know where every single dollar of their money is going anymore, because you literally have to.
America didn't get more expensive. Our money got weaker. In the early 2000s, one income was enough for a house and kids. Now 2 incomes are nowhere close to being enough to do that comfortably. And that word she used, surviving instead of living, has come up basically in every clip today. Nobody's thriving. Everyone's just getting through. That's 2026 for most people. And on the housing side specifically, the next one is going to make you shake your head.
People are charging $1,000 a month to rent rooms in their home. $1,000 a month to rent a room. Bro, what the fuck we gonna do? The cost of living has gotten out of hand, and y'all buy a house, man. Everybody that I know that owns a house tells me don't buy no fucking house. They hate that shit. Between property taxes going the fuck up, insurance going the fuck up, niggas having to fix roofs. Is that what it is? Having to fix their roof and shit. Everybody I know that got a goddamn house tell me don't buy no goddamn house. They say at least you call a maintenance man.
$1,000 for a room in someone's house is just laughable. And then she says that every friend she knows who bought a house advises her not to. Property tax has gone up significantly along with insurance. The roof repair and maintenance are also expensive. There seems to be no winning side here. Whether you rent or buy, both sides are just broken. And her son is about to become an adult and step into a world where even finding a place to live has become a puzzle that even most people can't solve. And that's the real generational crisis. It's not just that we're struggling now, it's that we're handing this same system to the next generation and calling it life. But here's the thing, it's not just housing that have become a luxury.
The cost of living is so fucked that everything is now considered a luxury. Things that were normal a few years ago. I couldn't afford to get a haircut for 6 months. Dental care. My mum has had to pay for a root canal and a filling for me. I meant to get another one. I still haven't done it because it's over £500. Eating healthy is a luxury. Supplements like cod liver oil or vitamin C, things like that, are a luxury. Having your own place is a luxury. How is this normal? How is any of this normal? How is not being able to afford a haircut, being able to move out of your parents' house, being able to afford a car, why are these things luxuries? Being able to retire after working your whole life is a luxury. This country's fucked.
So haircuts, dental care, eating healthy, all these have become a luxury now. A root canal in UK is over £500 out of pocket. Vitamin supplements, things your body literally needs to function, are things people now weigh against buying food. And we've quietly accepted that the basics have become premium. But there's a name for this, and it's called luxury creep. Except it's happening in the wrong direction. Things that used to be normal are slowly getting reclassified as privileges. And when no one challenges that, it sticks. But the wage conversation is what the lady in the next clip lays out cold.
2 wages, £3,400 coming in. Still not enough. Okay, let's have a look at the numbers. So, 1,200 on your mortgage or on your rent. You've got 500 plus on bills, just your essentials. You've got £600 on food, sometimes more, and that's £2,300 already gone. So that's before your car insurance, before your petrol, before your parking, before childcare, which is another mortgage in some instances. So now what? That's £1,000 left for 2 people, a family, a life, and it just disappears so fast. And this is why people are struggling. So even with 2 incomes, because salaries just haven't kept up with the price of everything else, and that's the issue. There just isn't the gap anymore. What do we do about it? I don't know. But the main thing here, and that's why it's important to have the conversations, is to know that you're not alone.
So 2 wages coming in at £3,400 a month gets broken down into £1,200 on mortgage or rent, £500 for bills, £600 for food. That's £2,300 gone before you touch petrol, parking, or childcare. And she calls childcare another mortgage. And she's not exaggerating, because a full-time nursery in the UK averages over £1,000 a month per child. So if you've got one kid, your remaining £1,000 is already wiped out. You're in a negative, 2 incomes, and you're still running deficit every month. That's not a personal budgeting problem. That's structural. And the next clip starts to show you where that pressure leads.
I got a letter recently that my property taxes are going to go up $600 a year from now on. I got a letter that my homeowner's insurance is going up $60 a month. My propane company sent me a letter that my propane is going to double this year. They just came and filled up my tank. It was $1,000. That's crazy. Also, as a entrepreneur and business owner, I get my health insurance through the marketplace. So you have the Affordable Care Act. I pay $45 a month. They just informed me that if this bill passes and I lose my tax credit, I'm going to go from $45 a month to $660 a month for health insurance. I need to buy a new car, and I can't, because the cars have gotten more expensive and the interest rates have gotten so much more expensive. I can't find a reliable car that has the same monthly payment of $450 a month that I've been paying now for a new car. Not necessarily new, but new to me. Groceries are insane, and it feels like every day I get a new email from another subscription that I have, whether it's Netflix, my website subscription. Everything's increasing in price. And I sit pretty much every day stressed about money, and yet I know that there are so many people in this country that are way worse off than me.
Property tax up $600 a year. Home insurance up $60 a month. Propane doubled. Health insurance potentially going up from $45 to $600 a month if the new bill passes. And she says she sits there every single day being stressed about money, knowing she's still better off than most people around her. That hits me, because if someone who owns a home and runs their own business is still stressed, what does that say about everyone else? But the thing she said that I can't shake is that some women can't leave dangerous situations at home because they genuinely can't afford to. And this is how expensive it's gotten. The cost of living has become a safety issue, not just a financial one. And that's why grocery on a payment plan isn't a joke.
Here's the real question. If millions of families are going into debt just to eat, what does that say about the true health of the US economy? A new survey shows that about a quarter of Americans are using buy now, pay later apps like Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay just to buy groceries. We are not talking about sneakers and vacations. We're talking about milk, eggs, and pasta on a payment plan. And that number is climbing fast, which means more and more people literally can't afford food up front anymore. Let's be honest, Wall Street might look fine, but Main Street is starving.
A quarter of Americans are now using the buy now, pay later apps for groceries. This isn't reckless spending, mind you. These are people who can't afford to cover the cost of food before the payday arrives, and that number keeps climbing. Meanwhile, Wall Street looks fine. Corporate profits are at record highs, but people in the actual supermarkets are going into debt just to eat. And the gap between what the economic data says and what daily life actually feels like, nobody in power seems interested in explaining that. And this next one goes straight to the people who are supposed to fix this.
The cost of living in Ohio is getting more and more expensive each day. There is no reason why I just had to spend $600 on my electricity bill for 1 month. And then our Senator John Husted says that we just need to make more money, and that Ohioans who are financially struggling are just not experienced at navigating the real world, whatever that means. Rent is through the roof. Gas is through the roof. Groceries are high, clothes are high, even ice cream is expensive. It's getting ridiculous. And I know I'm not the only one who deals with this, because all of my family, all of my friends are also dealing with this here in Ohio. Are y'all seeing anything that is crazy high right now? I mean, I know we all are dealing with the gas prices, but I don't know, is anybody else's electricity super high? I've never had to pay $600 for 1 month of electricity. The rent prices in Ohio, in Stark County, are rising quicker than wages. How are we raising the rent but not the wages? It doesn't make sense to me.
$600 for a month of electricity in Ohio is scary. And her senator's response is just make more money. He said people who are struggling financially aren't just experienced enough at navigating the real world. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the answer from people elected to fix it. And then she asks, one of the questions which nobody seems to be able to answer. How are we raising rents but not wages? Because if wages kept pace with what food, rent, and energy actually cost, this conversation wouldn't exist. But they haven't, and the people setting policies are apparently too busy to notice. The next video gets into exactly how much you'd need to earn to feel comfortable in this current economy.
For most people, until you're earning like 10 to 15k a month, you're not going to really see a massive difference in lifestyle. Even though 1,000 to 10,000 is quite a big jump, it's still not financially free. Like living in the UK, for example, is quite expensive, and like I personally think a household needs around 5k a month to be able to actually do things that you want to do, you know, not live a restricted life.
10 to 15,000 a month just to live a life that doesn't feel restricted is what she's saying. Think about how many people you know that are actually earning that monthly. In the UK, the median full-time salary is around £34,000 a year. That's roughly £2,800 monthly. And she's saying you need 5 times that to feel genuinely free. And honestly, she's probably not too far off. That's not really pessimism. That's just the gap between what life costs and what most people actually earn. And closing that gap through individual effort alone for most people isn't realistic, which is exactly what the next clip gets into.
We need to stop calling it a cost of living crisis, because that would imply that everybody is suffering equally. But let's be honest, they're not. What's actually happening right now has a different name. It's called a wealth transfer. And whether you're on the receiving end or the giving end entirely depends on your current position. Here's the situation, right, that doesn't always make the headlines. Whilst ordinary people are choosing between heating their homes and feeding their children, the combined wealth of the top 1% has grown. Energy companies have posted their highest profits in history in the same time that mine and your bills doubled. Banks increased mortgage rates and simultaneously posted record earnings. Shocker. So the money hasn't disappeared, it's just moved. And this isn't a conspiracy theory, by the way, it's just basic accounting. So when economic pressure squeezes the majority of us at the bottom, all the capital flows upwards towards the people who own the infrastructure that we all depend on. Nobody at the bottom really wants to talk about this out loud because it's not comfortable talking about how you're being done over by the large institutions. But it's alright being angry about it, and it's understandable, but being angry without changing your position is probably just noise. So what we need to do is start thinking about how we're going to change where we are. But let me tell you, the answer is not buying a house and calling yourself an investor, and it's not hoping that your pension pot does something magic in 40 years' time. It's more about building skills that compounds over time and building income streams that you actually control. Something like a personal brand or a business or something that actually works for you, rather than you endlessly working for it.
It's not a cost of living crisis, it's a wealth transfer. And that's the thing I keep coming back to after watching all these clips today. The energy companies just posted the highest profits in history, while our bills doubled. Banks raised mortgage rates and posted record earnings in the same quarter. The combined wealth of the top 1% grew this exact same period. Most of us was cutting back. The money moved upwards through the systems that own our rent, our energy, and our debts. And here's the truth, working harder inside those systems doesn't change which direction the money flows. The only way is to build something that works for you, not work for something that's working against you. That's the real conversation, and that's what we're going to keep having on this channel. Now, if any of those clips hit close to home, drop a comment. I want to know what you're dealing with, where you are. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. For the meantime, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.